Welcome to BizRoanoke. This segment we will be talking about international trade, and we have with us Nate Day, who is the International Trade Manager for VEDP.
Absolutely. Lisa, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us. So talk to us a little bit about the opportunities that exist for companies in the city of Roanoke internationally.
Absolutely. So one of the things that most companies understand is that exports are at an all-time high. And so there's a lot of countries who are looking for American products to be able to basically fulfill their supply chains and also serve their consumer base. And so last year alone, the global marketplace did about $25 trillion in global exports. The United States did $2.5 trillion. Okay. So we're only 10% of the marketplace. So when companies ask, is there opportunity, are there really customers out there? Only 10% of the market is fulfilled by United States exports. There's a lot of other countries exporting. I mean, there's competition, but that means there's opportunity as well.
So there's lots of opportunity.
Absolutely.
Out there. Yeah. So we have great companies in the city of Roanoke.
Awesome companies.
And are there any that have been successful on the international stage?
Absolutely.
Exporting to foreign countries?
Yeah, so we have done a number of companies going to Canada, down in South America. One of the unique things about where the United States is positioned is there are a lot of emerging markets, countries that incomes are coming up, and so now they are looking for more quality products, and that's something that we have a lot of quality companies here in Roanoke City. And so it's one of those things that they're looking for those products, being able to connect them, and that's been really exciting to see those successes, whether it's just connecting with other distributors to help sell products into those countries, or also to selling direct to consumer. And so that's something that opened those markets in Canada. We also have a couple companies out of Roanoke doing Europe as well. And so that's been really great to see them just build those relationships. It takes time, but ultimately it pays off in the long run.
Nate, can you talk to us about any of those companies?
Absolutely. So Flexmetric is one company.
Okay.
They do software technology.
All right.
And so I know they work with a number of manufacturers in Canada, also looking at South America. And so I know they've had some success. We have some other companies in agriculture that have really been successful as well with additives, helping farmers and everything else. And so I think that's been exciting to see their successes as well.
So how does Virginia help our companies compete internationally? What are some things that you all do for them at the Virginia Economic Development Partnership?
So we really kind of put it in three different buckets. Three ways we help is, number one, we help companies find opportunities. So we have a lot of companies that are currently exporting, or maybe they're not exporting, but they're curious. The state of Virginia has consultants that cover over 75 countries.
Wow.
So versus having to go on Google and do a Google search and say, is there really a market there? Or maybe they just got an inquiry from maybe Germany or something like that. We have consultants that can do research in those countries and say, hey, you know what, Lisa, you got a great company. Let's see what's happening in the marketplace. And they can verify if there's a market, how competitive it is, whether it's going to be price point appropriate based upon export costs and everything else. And they can also then identify potential customers or distributors for those companies. So finding opportunities is the first place that we like to start with companies. So once we find those opportunities, and we say, hey, Lisa, you know what, we found some customers or options in Germany, let's travel to market. So through VEDP, we have trade missions where we take companies overseas to connect with future, hopefully, clients or customers. I'm taking companies to Chile, Peru here in the next 2 months. And so that will be great. We also have trade shows that the state of Virginia has booths, and we invite Virginia companies to come exhibit to help reduce the cost, the financial burden, to accessing that marketplace. So Paris Air Show, Farm Bureau, we do Arab Health, and those are all opportunities for Virginia companies to travel to market and exhibit and get there. And then last but not least, we help support companies. And that's really through our trade partner network. We have attorneys, we have tax experts, we have marketing experts. If you have questions about, we have one company having issues in China with international IP, so we got them connected with a local Chinese law firm. So we're able to connect them so when they have questions, we can really help them get the answers they need. And then also too, we have our grant programs. And that's something that we're probably most famous for, our valet program, where we want to offset some of the financial burden and risk that companies have going internationally. So we have programs, grant programs from $10,000 up to $30,000 that are reimbursable, that basically help companies offset some of those costs, whether it's upgrading translating your marketing brochures, maybe it's shipping or questions about regulations. We can help offset some of that investment.
Very nice. So I guess when traffic comes to a company's website, if they're measuring their Google or their analytics, they can see what countries are looking at their websites.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things. If they look at the Google Analytics and they notice they're
Yeah.
getting pickup from South America,
Yeah.
then they can bring that information to us, and we're happy to talk with our consultants and then really get more defined information about what's causing people to come.
Right.
Is there a bigger market there that they should invest in? And also, too, how can they build out a strategy to really capitalize on that marketplace?
Yeah. So that'd be a reason to make sure your website is really
Oh, absolutely.
the best of the best.
No, with Google Analytics and everything else, there's a lot of insight that we can gain to kind of help guide the focus.
Right.
What
right.
we find is a lot of companies, they have, typical orders here and there from different countries. They don't really look at the country. And so we like to take that insight and say, look, let's help you focus. You only have so many resources, so much time. So let's really get the biggest bang for your buck.
Nathan, talk to us a little bit about the trade agreement with China.
Trade agreement with China. So right now is an interesting time with China
Right.
because of ultimately the coronavirus virus, excuse me if I
Exactly.
mispronounced that, but also 2 tariffs.
Right.
And I think that's been a big impact for companies here, especially in our region, especially with supply chains. And so that's something where we have talked with a lot of companies, strategies about how to help with those tariffs. And some companies have had to redistribute their supply chains to India, Vietnam, or other countries.
Okay.
Others have had to work with their partners to take on the cost for right now.
Right.
Hopefully the tariffs will come to an end. But at the end of the day, it's something that absolutely, it's uncertain times, and how companies are having to really mitigate or deal with that relationship.
Righty. And one other question, I think that I failed to ask you about the comprehensive international trade plan and
Absolutely.
the purpose of that and how that's applicable in the city of Roanoke.
So this kind of ties into China.
Right.
And so a lot of companies, the trade plan is the first ever comprehensive with VDOT, Department of Agriculture, VEDP, to really come up with a comprehensive strategy to say, how do we help increase Virginia's exports? And so the governor came out and they wanted to go ahead and basically increase exports in Virginia by 50%
Yes.
over the next, I think, 15 years,
Nice.
which is a really big goal and it's going to be exciting. So it helps companies, number one, we're going to serve more companies. So in Virginia, typically we have 6,000 to 8,000 companies that export a year.
Okay.
In VDP, we only work with about 330 of those. So it's like 5%. So the governor's going to help us be able to serve more companies
Nice.
and help them exporting. The second piece with the China is also on the supply chain. So for a lot of companies, we have questions about can we find the same product sourcing wise, not from China, maybe from India or Vietnam.
Right.
We already have consultants across the globe. And so what the governor and the trade plan looks at our organization and says, how can we help companies on the import side find those supply chain answers and get them connected with the right people in those countries.
Okay.
And so I think that's going to be a big asset for a lot of Virginia companies that as they look to either, differentiate their supply chains.
Right.
Now they don't have to stumble through or figure out, okay, well, who do I go to? They'll have a resource who can say, we got a contact in the country. Let's see if we can't find that answer.
That's pretty exciting.
Oh, it
That's
is.
great. That's great news.
And so I think
Yeah.
for a long time, we've been focused on the sales part. We'll continue to focus on exporting. Virginia, especially Roanoke City, has a lot of great products and services to
Yes,
offer
we
the
do.
world. But the other part too is, okay, how can we help make sure they continue to help supply those products and services through sourcing?
Right. If our viewers are listening and our companies are interested in learning more about the valet program and the work that you're doing in international trade, how may they do that?
So they can reach out to me via my email address at nday@vdp.org. And also if you go to virginiaexports.org, it has all of our contact information and more resources.
Right.
And so we're happy to help support any company. So just shoot me an email or give me a call, my contact information. I'll be happy to sit down and talk with the company and then tell you what next steps could be.
Nate, thank you very much for being with us today, and we look forward to hearing more about the program, and you're growing the program and getting some additional companies on board with looking at importing their goods.
Absolutely. No, Lisa, I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be a part of working with your team.
Wow.
You guys do great work, but also just to see the great companies that are here in Roanoke City and how we can help them improve their footprint internationally.
Right. Thank you so much. We're
Absolutely.
excited.
Good deal.
Thanks for joining us today. If you have questions regarding the segment, please give me a call. My name is Lisa Soltis. You can reach me at the City of Roanoke Department of Economic Development at 540-853-1694 or by email at lisa.soltis@roanokeva.gov. Thank you.